Hey guys, so today I'll be building a YouTube component. It's going to be the category selector on the top that you see on YouTube. The goal of this is to show you how you can build an open source project and you can add it to your resume and even have other people using it. So I think it looks great on somebody's resume. It stands out, it catches my attention if I can see what the open source project is. If they built it from scratch, that's very impressive. So it's something you can add to your resume. It's gonna take some work, but I think it can help you a lot to find a job. Hey guys, so I just finished. I'll show you guys how everything looks, the README and everything, and how we'll be looking at what I used for this project in particular, what was my thought process, what the documentation looks like, so all that. Okay, so yeah, let's just get into it. This is the repo. I'm just gonna show you guys the files. So the interesting ones are gonna be in the source. This is where the components are. So pretty much this index exports the components. If I had multiple ones, I would import all of them and then export them with just this name exports. If we go into components / tab selector, here, this is the main thing of this repository. So we have some React imports. I mean, that's pretty standard. If you have worked in the other projects, that's what are gonna see. Root style, so these are just the styles objects. Also pretty standard. I won't go into much detail into what each of these are, but pretty much they make the components look like decent instead of them just looking like whatever HTML has by default. Margins, paddings, colors, and all that. You can look them up individually, but they just make the component look good. If we scroll down here, this is kind of also the important part. This is the function component. It's called a tab selector. And so I just put a brief description here. I was going to do some kind of documentation that's auto-generated. Didn't go with that at the end, but it's still there. It's still kind of useful. Yeah, so here, I mean, I'm using hooks. This is Statehook. This is pretty much like just to keep state and update state, which tab is selected. And I have two functions that I created here, and pretty much to get the styles, like we have to calculate whether the button is active or not based on the index. So we do that here. And so you can do whatever you want in this component. I mean, this is just what I created, but it's really up to you what you put inside of here. At the end, you're gonna render some JSX and put a bunch of functions and things inside of your component. And then you're gonna define your prop types for whatever this component receives. So let's look into the package JSON. I think there are some interesting things here. I was trying to use style guides. This is a cool kind of tool to generate documentation for React components. Probably can show you guys. Yep, so this is the website for Style Guidist. Pretty much it's you can generate documentation like this. Oh, this is broken. But kind of like this. And then you have your components and you have nice examples and everything. Like you get like examples of how to import your components and all that. It's just very nice. But you can make that work. But instead you can see it here. Let me show you guys how the documentation looks. It still looks kind of nice, just like getting started. I think this is crucial to have the good documentation for your projects, because that's what's gonna make or break whether somebody decides to use your project. It's really hard to like just look at the files and figure out how to set up the project. You're gonna run into errors. You're gonna run into a ton of things, or your users are gonna run into a lot of problems if you don't have some basic guidelines on how to use whatever you built. So in my case, just like a simple getting started, just like how to install the dependency, how to use it in another component is enough. And some description of the props is also good. Here's what how it looks like visually, and then like this is documentation for me to how to publish this project into npm and update it, because I might forget in the future. So I just wrote this for myself. But if you guys want to contribute to this, feel free. I think that's also good. If you guys want to add it to your resume, feel free to contribute to this project. It's public. You don't have to create your own, but that's one option if you don't want to create something from scratch. But pretty much what I did was I just went to youtube.com. I looked at this bar and I pretty much copied what that bar is and does. And yeah, so it's supposed to look like this buttons right here. That's what you see right here and how this looks like. Let me try running it. Let's try running the project. So let's see. So yeah, in this other project, I have the dependency imported. So this is just for me to test what it looks like in a separate project. Yeah, I just have some on-click listeners and it just alerts, but you click on the tab and then it highlights it, and you can do whatever you want with the on-click. That's kind of configurable by whoever is using my component. And so it's not too difficult to do this. I started this over the weekend. I finished today. So overall, probably around 6-8 hours of time to just do this. It might take you longer or less than that, depending on how big you want the scope to be of your project. But feel free to experiment with it. You're not gonna get it at the first time. Maybe you try again, you run into a bunch of errors, scrap your whole project, start again. But it's just kind of the process of trying to get something like this out. What's gonna make you guys learn more about React and just many other things, just the tools around how to create documentation, how to fix bugs, all that kind of thing. I think it's super, super useful if you're starting out to learn React. So hope you guys liked this video. It was just kind of me going over an open source project. I'll probably publish this somewhere. I don't know yet where, but here it is. Feel free to check it out. Post any questions in the comments. I'll be happy to answer as long as I have time and I get a chance to get to them. See you guys.